Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Dawn. So today I'm going to be talking about 6 things I've learned in my first year of owning a vacation rental. I actually have notes this time, so I'm not talking all over the place. So we'll just hop right in. So the first thing I learned is it costs more to furnish a house than I thought. Like, I really thought $10,000 was, one, a lot of money, but two, was more than enough to furnish a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. And that was not the case. I spent closer to 15,000. And if you want to know more about how I came up with that money, because that was additional funding that I sought out outside of like my down payment and mortgage and all of that, and that is a monthly bill that I still have to pay. But thankfully, the house pays for itself pretty much. So, and if you watch my previous video, then you notice I spent most of my money at like secondhand, and I upcycled pieces, like repainted, as well as like TJ Maxx and Marshalls. So pretty affordable places, and I still spent a lot of money on furnishing that house. But I love it. I get compliments on it all the time about how I decorated. And that takes me into my next point, which is balance cute, functional, and affordable. So you definitely want your vacation rental property to be cute, because that's really what's going to attract people to staying there, unless your location is more like out of necessity. But if it's like a vacation spot, like somebody's going to pick something because like, oh, this looks cute, like I want to stay there. But I realized some pieces that I picked just for their cuteness did not last. So one example was a rug for the kitchen. So like right in front of the sink, it was white and like a natural like jute kind of fabric, which I thought like the mix of them, like, oh, this will be fine. No, the white got dirty so quick, and because it was like mixed textiles, it didn't wash very well either. So it only lasted like maybe 3 to 6 months, not very long, but it was super cute. Like for like your own personal house, you would probably take a little bit better care of it. Not that people are like trashing my house, but it definitely did not last. So I had to replace it with a more affordable option, where I went with like a darker color, something that didn't show stains as well. So my next thing is having a cleaner or team you can depend on is essential. So I knew this was going to be essential in the beginning, but actually when I got close to the date, like I wanted to launch, and I hadn't found anyone that I liked, I tried out one other cleaner before I decided on the person I was initially went with. And like after they cleaned, like it wasn't even fully furnished. At the time, I had just done most of like the painting and like kind of construction work that I did, so like building the fireplace and everything. And I just had them clean after that, and it wasn't up to the standards that I wanted to be clean. Like I could still go back and I could, see some dust here and there, or like spots that they didn't get as well. So I'm like, I can't trust them to clean between guests and have guests come and like, oh, this is not clean. Like I need your cleaning standards to be up here, like above most people's. Especially if you're gonna have a cleaning company. So I ended up finding a wonderful lady who lived very close to the property, and she was my cleaner for, I guess, the first half of the year. But with COVID and everything, she decided to close her business. But she was able to recommend someone, a Black owned company. So that was even great. And we haven't had any issues, they're always like reliable, and I know like his standard of clean. He has a business to run too, so he wants to maintain his 5-star rating, and I want to maintain my 5-star rating. So we have like the same goals. So I never feel bad about like messaging like, hey, this guest said this, or like if I stop by the property, I'm like, hey, I saw this, or can you take care of this? Like, he's always about it. Next point is be prepared for the unexpected. No matter how great your team is, no matter how much like you prepare, like something's always gonna happen. Like something's always gonna happen that like you weren't prepared for, and one, you want to make sure you have the money for it or the means to pay for it. So if that's like a emergency credit card or like a saving account, like when you're first starting a business, like you're gonna have unexpected expenses. You're gonna have debt that you haven't like paid off. That's all normal, but you don't want to get like too much in a hole where you have no idea how you're gonna get out of it, especially if you're not getting bookings. And that brings me to my next point, which is location, location, location. I decided to go with a mountain property because I knew people go to the mountains all year round. So I think mountains are one of, I don't say the few destinations, but like you're not gonna go to the beach in the fall outside of my parents, because we used to go to the beach when it was cold, and I'm like, why are we here? Just last year I went to Myrtle Beach in October. Like, yes, some days were nice, but that's not necessarily where I want to be. I would rather be at the beach when it's hot so I can just be out there frolicking in the ocean. But the mountains, like, you go when it's cold. So if there's snow, if it's sunny, like the mountains usually have year-round activities. Okay, so my camera just cut off and I have no idea what I was talking about. I think I was talking about location, and how Harper's Ferry has tons of things going on there. There's vineyards, there's a casino, there's hiking, there's the river. So there's things to do pretty much all year round. And even if there's not much to do outside, like there's still nature, which is outside, but there's still tons of things to do, and people go there year round. So when you're choosing a location for your vacation rental, make sure like people have a reason to go there year round, or people travel there year round. When COVID hit, a lot of places like people were canceling left and right and not necessarily rebooking. But thankfully, at least in the beginning, because people were like, oh my gosh, I can't pay my mortgage, I gotta sell the house. And I'm just like, but that's beyond the point. So when COVID hit, a lot of like most of my bookings went ahead and canceled, but they were pretty much immediately rebooked with people who wanted to travel there. They wanted to get out of DC. Like it's Harper's Ferry is very centrally located. Like Philadelphia is right there, DC is right there, Northern Virginia is right there, and that's where a lot of the money is. So tons of people were coming from there just wanting to get out of the city, out of their houses, and into another environment and work from there. As we all know, like that's really what happened the whole rest of the year. And but you have to be prepared for any kind of situation. So I would say make sure you pick a property where people are actually going to go. Like a city location may not always be the best, especially in situations like this. I'm not sure how those properties are doing, but just make sure you do your research and like you're prepared and you're comfortable with like, okay, like if worst case scenario happened, like would I still get bookings? And my last point is you can't please everyone 100%, but use it as a learning experience. Even with one of the best cleaning teams I have right now, there's always going to be somebody who complains about something. You can do all this you can do, but there may always be a situation where someone is not 100% happy. It's a matter of how you handle the situation. So I take everything as a learning experience, and I even tell my guests like, I'm pretty new at this and I'm still learning, but so like tell me your feedback before you leave a review, because we don't want to mess up the 5 stars, but also like so I can like address the problem, maybe even fix the problem if there is one. This has only happened like maybe 1 or 2 times, and sometimes it's just like, oh, maybe how I worded something on the listing, and I'll go back and reword it so that doesn't happen again in the future. So those are the 6 things I've learned in my first year of owning a vacation rental. It definitely wasn't I mean, I guess it was a lot easier than actually the furnishing project process and traveling back and forth, and also with quarantine, like, and me quitting my job. If I wanted to go up there, then I just had to go up there. It wasn't like trying to fit into a work schedule. So it was definitely a lot easier than working 40 plus hours a week and traveling back and forth. But it was definitely a learning experience. But I'm so grateful for this experience and this opportunity. And I really just want to win the lottery so I can pay off the mortgage and all of it will be profit. That would be great. But if you have any more questions about owning a vacation rental, choosing a location, decorating, or anything like that, then don't hesitate to reach out. Leave a comment down below and let me know what's one of your favorite places to go, or what's one of your favorite things to do in the mountains. One of mine is zip lining, or zip lining really anywhere, but that's how I got into this mountain vacation as an adult, outside of like when we went as kids, like growing up. But I love zip lining. If you haven't been zip lining, then definitely try it out. I definitely want to go like in Brazil, but that's a whole nother story. But yes, thanks for watching, guys. Bye.